Hello and welcome to Early Late Nights, the show that can build every single piece in Nintendo Labo without the instructions, blindfolded behind its back while doing a 360 no-scope. Damn straight, that is impressive. I'm your host, Ciaran, and tonight we're going to be talking about some very interesting topics. We've got Nintendo Labo coming out at the same time as God of War last week. We'll be doing the eSports wrap-up for the week, as well as going into seeing what developer the old Valve just picked up, and what that means for that developer, as well as my tidbit for the week, where, as I said on Friday, I'll be going into God of War, giving you my initial thoughts, my initial feelings, and reminiscing about the game and going through it a little bit. But it's going to be a great show. Thank you for joining us. Let's get right into it with Nintendo Labo. If you didn't see this stealth came out, in my opinion. For me, stealth came out. It came out at the same time as God of War on Friday, and boy oh boy, is it not for me. It really isn't. It seems to be a product that is very kid-orientated, which is completely fine. It's almost like a new generation of Toys to Life in many ways, where you have, these cardboard bits that you fold and put together, making the Nintendo Switch console into different things, into fishing rods, and there's a little house, and there's a keyboard, and it's been interesting to see what people have done with the console and with the game so far. And it's been an interesting thing around. It's definitely not for me, as I already said. And with that, it interests me, but at the same time it frustrates me how Nintendo just loves to be wacky. Nintendo loves this wacky shit. You have your Nintendo Wiimote when the Wiimotes first came out. With the movement, they always have to be different. Their controllers are always kind of weird. Their ideas are strange. They had the chainsaw control, which was a fucking cool controller for Resident Evil 4 for GameCube, but it was a very weird idea. You had the first of the Miis. You had the little, what are they called now? Little figures. It'll come for me. It'll come to me at some point, but they like going out of the box, where I'm just like, Nintendo, stick to making games, because so far on the Switch, you've made some fantastic stuff. The hardware's actually good. You've made some good IPs. You've continued to grow your IPs. Please just keep that up. Just keep it up. But hey, as I've said it twice already, I'm really not the audience for this device. And it's interesting to see people look into this. It's interesting to see the reviews that are coming out. A lot of it is a bit, underwhelmed, because a lot of reviewers don't have kids, and they're just reviewing it because it's the next best thing. But for kids, it seems to be interesting to put together. It's a lot like Lego. It, brings together that love that you have for it. You get to spend time together. I think it's a good bonding experience with your kids. If you have kids, be putting together something like this, something like maybe the more complicated stuff. There's already images on the internet and articles being written by Kotaku about cats destroying the cardboard. And there was always released as well that you can now buy the cardboard pieces separately, just in case you break the originals that you get, which is clearly going to happen. It's freaking cardboard. Obviously, if they sell enough units of this, then it's going to be an interesting product for Nintendo. I can't imagine that it's very expensive to make, because it's fucking cardboard, but it's going to be weird to see if this is a thing. I don't think it is. I really don't think it is, just from the amount of people that I've seen talk about it. And I think it's okay that Nintendo do this family-oriented focus, because that's what they've always done. But it's nice to see nowadays that they have something for, the diehard Nintendo fans that have grown up. And then there's also this family stuff that is not necessary for your experience. It was fun to see people like Brian Altano from IGN made a song using the keyboard setting of the Labo. So I don't know if anybody got this, or a member of their family got this. Please let me know what you thought about the product, how it was presented. It seems fairly easy to put together, actually. Apparently the kids were putting the fishing rod together themselves. I've read a couple of reviews saying that it was fairly straightforward. If you have destructive kids, it's probably not the best for you, because the little shits are just going to break it. They're probably good kids, but they're probably little shits for breaking it at the same time. So this is not a product for everybody, but I think Nintendo's okay doing that because they've got such a good basis for the Nintendo Switch. They don't need to put every single product out for absolutely everybody. It's an interesting product. It's different. I don't know how I feel about putting my foot on my Switch as a drum pedal, but hey, Who knows? What do we know anything? Let's, let's go on to some esports, shall we? And get away from the crazy kookiness of the cardboard Labo. And this week there was some interesting stuff happened with in the esports scene. We got a press announcement through to our email that Team Yeah Nah has won the Australia and New Zealand Splatoon 2 Cup and will represent Australia and New Zealand at the Splatoon 2 World Championships in Los Angeles. So Splatoon 2 is getting its, it's getting its own share of people, like, of esports, with people actually playing it to be competitive. I haven't watched any of it. I don't know if I'd find it too interesting just because I don't love the game, but it's good to see that even smaller games like Splatoon 2 are getting an esports or getting, a competitive scene growing because of it. But the big story of the week was that Ninja, the streamer who recently hosted a Twitch stream along with Drake, was hosting a Twitch event at the brand new esports arena in Las Vegas, which is a part of the Luxor Hotel, which... starting off, fantastic that there is now an esports arena in the place that never sleeps, Las Vegas, with, that kind of crowd around it. I think that's going to be a great boost for esports, especially in the world, in a place such as that, to see that kind of thing become, an actual fixture in a hotel. So Ninja hosted a Fortnite event at that new arena. The arena looked amazing. It looked so good. Was well catered for the players. It looked like everybody fit in. Everybody was comfortable. Didn't look like too squished or anything, so it looks like a good space. But yeah, Ninja hosted the event. A lot of it was mainly just, these high-level Fortnite competitors playing against Ninja himself in different heats and climbing up, as you can see here, and him playing and testing himself against them. It also got a fucking high viewer rate on Twitch. You got 667,000 concurrent viewers for the stream, which is mind-boggling. That, this Fortnite game was, at one point was probably was a bit behind PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and they've both had to, when Fortnite has stepped up and become, probably the premier Battle Royale game at the moment, PlayerUnknown has gone into its own thing and done some changes to it, but Fortnite seems to be growing well, and this viewing, it symbolizes how well Fortnite's doing and how much people are getting into it, how easy it is for people to get into, and with people like Ninja who can owe their fame a little bit to Fortnite being out, it is fantastic to see that growth. If you are a fan of League of Legends as well, you probably kept up with the LCS, well, it's LCK, I believe, the League Championship Korea that happened over the weekend. Kingzone beat Afrika Freaks. I hope I said that right, for the title. They won pretty convincingly 3-1, and it has been touted so far that this is the best Korean League of Legends roster that's ever been put together. So we're excited to see how they go coming into the Spring Invitational, to see how they go exactly there, if the NA and Europe teams can hang with them and really put up a good fight. I don't love in events, I don't love watching where one region just seems to be way better than everybody else. It happens with all esports when they first come out. One in the region, it just kind of clicks forward. Generally, it's Korea's very good at it. Seeing what clicks, what doesn't click, and they move forward and they kind of dominate, and everybody has to rise up to that level, which is a good thing in the long run, but I don't find it very interesting. League of Legends is at that point where hopefully all of the teams should be pretty equal, because it's been going long enough. Teams have been growing, exchanging, and learning from each other for long enough now that it's going to be hopefully a very good showing. So I'm excited to see what happens with the Spring Invitational. I wanted to highlight a story from the Score Esports this week about two Dota 2 professionals called Fly and No Tail. I was a big fan of Fly and No Tail. I still am. I don't watch the esport as much, but Fly and No Tail are two very interesting personalities with their story. The article shows their story with a video of how they became to be a part of the esports scene, their time with Fnatic, their time starting their own organization, Team OG, how they grew together and how they changed, and many things those two players both took very big metamorphoses in their play, in their game style. So it's been really amazing to watch their journey, and to watch, No Tail was the biggest troll I'd seen on streams. and to see where he'd come. And Team OG, if you haven't heard of them, are one of the most successful teams in Dota 2. They took up majors constantly over a 2-year period, and they're in a bit of a slump at the moment in many ways, but it has been fantastic to see Fly No Tail evolve out of their Heroes of New Earth beginnings, their time with Fnatic and into OG. So please, I not beg of you, but I prompt you. I demand that you go check it out. I'm going to put the link for the story in the description of the show, and I'll post it in the Twitch chat in a moment, just if you want to go check it out. And finally, Overwatch. Overwatch League had a fantastic week. Finally, there's been a week without not too much drama, which has been fantastic to see. But we have had some changes over the last couple of weeks, with the new map being released onto the Why am I spacing? On the test servers. I'm just going to call them test servers. There's another word for them. But on the test servers, there seems to be a few issues with the balancing of that map a little bit. So it'd be interesting to see how Blizzard change it in the coming weeks. The first 2 points of that map, which is a payload map, are very attacker shifted, I guess, balance. I don't know. The attackers have a much easier time early compared to the defenders, but then the last point, the defenders have a shocking advantage. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any changes made to that, or how Blizzard sees to balance that. There's also been Overwatch character changes for the first time in its almost 3-year life cycle. Overwatch has given Tracer a nerf, which is currently being tested. They have lowered her ultimate, the Pulse Bomb, by 100 damage. They've added the changes to Hanzo, so Hanzo no longer has Scatter Shot. He just has, I can't remember what the skill called, but where he rapidly fires 6 arrows in concession. We're doing full damage, looks really good. The Sonic or Sonar arrow has been shrunk, so it doesn't do as much. It doesn't show as much area, but it has a lower cooldown, and also he has a bit of a dash if you double tap spacebar now, which I like these changes. I've been excited for these changes. If you've watched me on stream, you've seen countless times where I've been pissed off or sad or wanting to cry because a random scatter arrow just smashed between my legs and just destroyed me. So it'll be a good change. I'm interested to see how it goes on the test servers and how quickly it's going to be implemented in the game. Remember to stay tuned here to Early Late Nights every Tuesday for our eSports wrap-up. If you want me to cover any eSports, you got any articles for me, tweet them at me at your boy Ringo or at Explosion Pod, and I'll check them out, and I might conclude them in next week's show.
What is out there?
Welcome to the first ever episode of Bevan World, the Explosion Network's review discussion. I don't know.
I thought we were doing Viewing Gods again, because this is a show about Ding Dong as well.
It is. You might be surprised to find out, Nick, that Ding Dong is on my list of notes for this show. Yeah.
I would not be surprised, as a matter of fact.
Look, if they show penis, you got to celebrate the penis in shows, you know?
You do.
And I have a note, and I have a legit reason to bring that Ding Dong up, because I feel like there's it's in character and out of character for her.
That is our new watch-along show. If you haven't been around for Explosion Network, we generally do watch-along shows with the newest released TV shows that our members are interested in. We have Viewing Gods for our... for, of course, American Gods and South of King's Landing for Game of Thrones. And we have just released Bevan World, which is our Westworld watch-along series every day, the following day after the newest episodes are released. The boys will be doing a live Twitch show, discussing the episode, going through latest theories, trying to find out anything more, talking about dongs as they did in that shot. But please check it out. Join us if you like it. If you want to wait, we also are going to put up the VOD on our Twitch channel as well as on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Explosion Network. So please make sure you check it out. Moving right along to our third story of the show. If you haven't heard, Valve is making some pretty big moves as of late, and it excites me quite a lot. Makes me very happy because Valve doing some very good things with their development. It's news coming from Valve that there is 8 new different shows, not shows, 8 new different games coming out along with the games they're already producing, their Counter-Strike, Dota 2, everything. They're bringing 8 different IPs coming forward, and that excites me. And there was news broke just yesterday about Campo Santo being the latest addition to the Valve family, and that excites me. So if you didn't see, but Campo Santo was the creators of Firewatch, which came out last year or the year before. It was such a interesting game, but at the same time it fell short a little bit for me. The ending of that game was a bit but the exploration side of the game was fantastic. Even though it wasn't as rewarding as I was hoping it to be, it was a fantastic game to play through. But it's exciting to see Valve take on Campo Santo. They generally do just take on these devs. They don't make too many changes. They let them do their thing under the Valve name. So that seems to be the case with Campo Santo. The team is staying independent. They are moving over to Seattle to the Valve headquarters, where they're going to continue on the game they announced last year at E3, which is Valley of the Gods, or Valley of Gods, which I think looks fantastic. It has that art style that we're used to with Firewatch. I hope they've developed the story and developed characters a lot more, because the characters in Firewatch were fantastic. There was a little bit missing from the payoffs of character choices. So I want to see that grow. They're already taking advantage of the perks of being a Valve company by taking part in the Valve retreat to Hawaii already this year. And I hope that this is signs that Valve are moving towards making more games, because boy, oh boy, have I missed Valve games being released quite annually. Even if we don't get a Half-Life, even if we don't get a Portal, we'd love that, but I'd just like to see more single-player Valve games, or single-player centric, where there's a campaign in them. Valve games coming, because they're legends. There's nothing quite like Valve. If you've played through Half-Life, if you've played Left 4 Dead, if you've played Portal, either Portal 1 or 2, Portal 1 or 2 has some of my favorite characters in video games, like with Wheatley and GLaDOS. So please, Campo Santos, do something good, do something amazing. I'm so excited for Valley of Gods, and I really hope they can pull it off, because it should be a fantastic product. And if you've been under a bit of a rock in the last couple of days, you might not know that God of War came out Friday, and so the world kind of went mad. PlayStation players globally started picking up this game, diving into it. We gave a copy of the game away, which is fantastic. And it's very exciting to see such a thing grow, and such a game to, really evolve. And the game was so good. It is so fantastic, and I'm so happy that we have it. I've put about 5-6 hours into it, sadly because of God of War. I won't be playing any of The Witcher for the next couple of days, just because the PlayStation is out with my 4K TV. But it is such a fantastic thing to see the shift in the gameplay, the cinematicness. If you don't know, the game only uses one camera shot for the entire thing. So the camera shot naturally moves and progresses through scenes, through characters. There's not multiple shots. It's just one smooth shot. And for me, it was really identified in the early stages of the game, where there's this almost Super Saiyan-esque fight that Kratos has that is so freaking cool. Like, I got so hyped when I saw them fighting it out, the two characters, and just the way the shot moves, the way it pans around. But even with that Super Saiyan fight, the combat in this game is so close to Dark Souls in many ways. It's hard. There are multiple times where I've, punched on with somebody and just got destroyed. The enemies seem to progress and get easier as you upgrade your weapons, of course, which makes sense, but at the same time you run into some stuff where you have to come into some cheeky kind of combat measures. The Leviathan axe that you have is fantastic. It freezes stuff when it hits. You can throw it, you can call it back. There's oftentimes those puzzles where you have to freeze a mechanism on a door or something to stop it from moving. And you freeze it, and then I always forget to call it back. So you'll run across, you'll run away, and you'll get to the next fighting area, and you'll start the fight with just your fists, and you're like, wait a minute, I need my axe. And you press the recall button, and Kratos has to kind of sit there with his hand out for a couple of seconds, being like, any time now, and you just awkwardly stood in the middle of the fight. This axe comes and flies back to your hand, which I think is a fantastic little touch. It's interesting to test the boundaries of it to see how long it takes before you're forced to recall it, or if it just naturally, automatically the game does it. I'm so happy to see Kratos as a character I understand a lot more now, and I can see more of this character with the relationship he has with his son. Visually, the game is stunning. It is a fantastic experience. Norse mythology has not always been my strong suit. Norse mythology in itself has been very... it's kind of second or third best for me because I love Greek mythology. So as it progressed, it's been nice learning more about Norse mythology. You read different tales and fables on wars as you're playing through the game. The mechanics are interesting. The enemy variety, I haven't varied too far yet, but it is very good. I don't think I've got no bad things really to say about the game. It's interesting to see Kratos' relationship with his son, because sometimes I want to punch Kratos in the mouth for being a douchebag, but you know why he's trying to do it. And then there's these like really soft moments where his expression just kind of softens up a lot, and he starts, giving his son more of his time and his chances and teaching everything. So it's interesting to see, bit by bit, the storytelling of this game. I'm not going to touch too much on the story because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played the game yet or hasn't had a chance. The only thing that worries me sometimes is my PlayStation Pro sounds like it's going to take off when I'm playing this game. Like, it is audibly loud when I'm playing God of War. Even, my housemate came along and said, is your PlayStation okay? And yeah, it's perfectly fine. It just sounds like it's going to take off. And I have to turn the TV up quite loud or wear headphones to be able to drown that out. That's probably the only problem with it. I would say if you're going to choose between the styles, if you do have the PlayStation Pro, is to make sure it is set to resolution rather than frame rate. I really like resolution. The game is beautiful. It tackles some interesting things, and it actually prompted me a couple hours ago. I was looking at a video that was explaining to me everything that happened in God of War, and I was so fucking confused. I was so confused at everything that happened in God of War. I was like, what the fuck? When did this shit happen? Like, when is all this? When did he do this and this and this? This is crazy. This is convoluted as all shit. Is this Kingdom Hearts? No, it's freaking God of War. So part of me wishes I could go back and play those, but I don't think I'd enjoy them at all because this game is a very different play style from those games. The cameras, the story, and the writing of this game is it's more connectable. Like, it's more, it's deeper, which I really like. I think is awesome. So, what do you think? Have you watched any God of War? It's been the hardest thing actually with me because I generally troll Twitch when I'm doing other things, and everybody's playing God of War, so I can't watch their streams. I'm like, I don't want to see anything that I haven't already seen. I've already seen tidbits that I'm like, I don't want to see this. Don't let me see that. God damn it. But please, are you excited for God of War? Do you wish you could play it if you don't have a PlayStation 4? Let me know while we check out this clip.
Basically the same to me. But no, that's all I do. And once you get into the habit of doing it, you just do it.
Yeah,
anyway.
I think that's
like,
what
I
I
sit
need
down
to
in
do.
a movie theater. As soon as I sit down, phone out, check in, turn phone off, pocket.
See, that's what I should do. That's not the problem. Every couple of days I sync up my Netflix, what I've been watching with the app.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it looked like I hadn't been watching.
I
much
check
stuff.
in per episode.
Yeah.
Like, if I was binge watching, I would click.
Each episode as it
Yeah.
starts up.
Yeah, that's a habit thing at this stage. I don't even think about doing it. On my laptop, I have tracked, like, as a pin tab also. So
Yeah,
if I watch anything on there, it's as easy as going from the Netflix tab to the track tab. Tracked, man. Shout out to Tracked, What a great place. What a great place that's going to send us free
Yep.
t-shirts one day. Let's do the next movie.
All right.
Ash,
Yes.
hey,
Hey.
we're like two identical people, you and I.
Not really.
we look the same.
Similar.
We look very similar, some would say. But imagine if there was 3 of us. Then we
Yeah.
would be 3 identical
Like if Ciaran was here.
Yeah, imagine if Ciaran was here, because he looks exactly the same also. We
Yeah.
all look like spitting images.
Yep.
But we're not strangers.
Crazy.
But there was a stage
Yeah.
where we was strangers.
Yeah.
Like a year and a bit ago.
Yeah.
In Sydney, when we was all strangers. And people were like, hey, they're 3 identical strangers.
Yeah.
And there's a movie out about us now. Can you tell me what it's about?
And that was our review discussion and trailer reacts. Please check those out on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Explosion Network, where our boys, Ashley, Dylan, maybe sometimes me at some points, are going deeper into trailers. We're checking out new trailers that we haven't seen yet and reviewing things like games. Like we did a review discussion on the Telltale Batman series as a whole. And this Saturday, I believe, there will be a Twitch stream with a review discussion between the boys about God of War. So tune into that if you have enjoyed and played the game so far. I'm excited to not watch it because I don't think I'll have finished the game yet, so I don't want to hear anything about it, but I'll check it out the moment I have finished the game, and just to see what they think about it and open more of a discussion. So if you want to get involved in that conversation, please follow us on Twitter at ExplosionPod to find out the times for that stream. But it makes me think with God of War, has God of War ever had this acclaim? Is that Avengers? That's Avengers. That's not God of War. Forget everything I just said. Saturday night's Avengers discussion, not God of War. So there we go. Don't tune in then for God of War. God of War will be at another time. I'll tell you when. Still follow Explosion Pod at Explosion Pod. That's all fucked up. That's all, it's a good thing I have social media manager extraordinaire Ashley Hobley chilling out with me because he puts me straight. But with God of War, I don't think it's ever received this such acclaim before. I think God of War had its audience, but I don't see it as had the audience that it has now. Just kind of everybody has just kind of seen this. So I'm excited to see how this game continues to grow and to see the end of this game and if we're going to get a sequel from the team. The team seems to be very proud of this game, which is fantastic. Really is. So I'm proud of everybody over there. Thank you very much for tuning into Early Late Nights. This is the Explosion Network's #1 gaming news show that happens every Tuesday and Friday at 6:30 p.m. Australian Standard Time. And if you can't make it live here on twitch.tv/Explosion Network, please join us over the day later, 24 hours later at 7 p.m. on youtube.com/Explosion Network or any good podcasting service where we will re-upload the VOD, or take a stroll through our Twitch archives because they'll be in there somewhere added out. So please feel free to check it out and grow it some more. Thank you very much for joining me. Today I did not do 60-second media minute, but what I will talk about is breaking news. Before I end the show, it has just been announced that Detroit, I think it's 2 Human. I'm going to say it's Detroit 2 Human. That is has gone gold. So that means that we are guaranteed to be receiving it next month. And there's also been news that tomorrow, so Wednesday, if you're watching this after the broadcast, there will be a demo released for the game in celebration for it going gold. So make sure you got that ready to download on your PlayStation 4. PlayStation just keeps killing it. Keeps killing it. And Xbox, I miss you. Please, Xbox, make some cool, make some cool games that I can play for you. Oh, well, thank you very much for joining me. Have a fantastic Anzac Day if you're here in Australia. Please take a moment to remember those that protected our country and thank those if you've got any in your family or friends or anybody around. Thank them for their service in our military and protecting our country. Thank you very much. Have a good night.